Do our conversations about crypto have you wanting to do more with your career? Check out Fidelity, which has been exploring Bitcoin and blockchain since 2014. They were the first traditional asset manager to launch a native crypto business and also among the first to launch a Bitcoin exchange-traded product. So why consider Fidelity? Because they invest in their talent with continuing education programs and they invest in their technology, ensuring associates are working with the latest and greatest so that their crypto teams can continue to improve and evolve their product, staying ahead of the rapidly changing digital asset landscape. With Fidelity's iterative, scalable approach, built to meet today's increasing demands across the digital space and a commitment to developing innovative tools, there's never been a more interesting time to work in crypto and DeFi at Fidelity. Explore Fidelity Crypto Careers today. Go to crypto.fidelitycareers.com to learn more. That's crypto.fidelitycareers.com. Fidelity is an equal opportunity employer. And now it is on with the show. My guest today is Cole Chapman. Cole is the CEO and co-founder at Global Gold. And well, we'll learn all about Global Gold today, but essentially, tokenizing gold, all that good stuff. Hey, welcome to the show, Cole.
Thank you. Good to be here, Eddie. Appreciate you having me.
Not a problem, my man. Great to have you here. Let's do what we do at the beginning of the show, Cole. It'd be great if you could please introduce yourself. Would love to hear some of your personal and professional backstory. I guess, what have you been doing in the lead up to becoming CEO and, well, essentially co-founding Global Gold?
Yeah, absolutely. I've been entrepreneur in the digital advertising and the marketing world for the past decade plus, and done a ton of stuff in and around that whole arena, a couple ad tech projects, an ad agency in Dallas. Primary background in that space, though, is building direct-to-consumer brands online. Got into crypto in 2017 in terms of trading and playing around, getting my feet wet, and then started building in 2021. We ended up building the first decentralized affiliate marketing protocol. And then as of, 6 months to a year ago, started kind of getting these downloads on how we could decentralize the entire global gold trade. And from there, started putting things together and ended up here we are today, about to launch the first major US gold token. Just launched our community token about a month ago. It's doing pretty well. And then have a handful of products that we're about to roll out over the next 3 months that are going to be pretty exciting for Q4, which we can get into here in a little bit.
Yeah, sounds fantastic. All right. Well, I guess, Cole, maybe we should start with just a little bit about gold in general. Look, I'm sure you've got your own thoughts on gold and, gold traditionally, ultimate reliable store of value. But now I suppose, by tokenizing gold, we potentially unlock some new properties that gold maybe has lacked before. But just give us the quick version of, how you think about gold and why you think gold is particularly ripe for, I guess disruption and certainly tokenization, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think if you look at a report McKinsey & Co. put out not too long ago, they're predicting that up to $200 billion worth of precious metals are going to be tokenized by 2030. We've got about $2 billion on-chain as of today. Most of that's primarily between Pax Gold and Tether Gold, which are tokenizing and vaulted out of and tokenizing European gold. And so I think it makes sense. I mean, if you look at gold being a cumbersome asset that's hard to move, right? And all of a sudden being able to tokenize that, bring that on chain, and now it can move at the speed of digital, the liquidity that provides to the gold space is going to be unmatched. And so I think there's a variety of reasons to do it, a variety of benefits to both the gold industry as well as DeFi for bringing gold on chain. And so for us, the timing right now too, I think you're seeing massive, seismic shifts, right? In the gold space right now. Gold's at all-time highs. There's a reshuffle of cards in the gold industry where the US is now front and center of the gold trade, yet does not have a major tokenization engine. And so I think we're at a spot now that the window of the timing that we're about to launch this into is beyond perfect. And so, I think DeFi right now, I think needs all these treasuries diversifying into, treasuries, like tokenized treasury bonds, But you're seeing, Ray Dalio saying 15, was it 10 to 15% he recommends of your portfolio being in gold. The chief investment officer from Morgan Stanley came out last week and said he recommends 20% being in gold. So that message needs to get out to the, guys who are running the treasury at all these major protocols saying, hey, if you're invested in treasury bonds, you might as well be invested and diversified into gold as well. We're actually, I think, Balaji put a post out last week that showed the chart that gold's actually about to flip treasury bonds in terms of what's being held by the central banks for their reserves. So most people don't realize that Basel III went into effect in the U.S. in July, which gives the banks the right, or not the right, but the ability to hold gold as an equivalent reserve asset to cash and bonds. And so that's a lot of what I think is pushing the demand of gold up right now, is the demand by the banks to hold gold as a reserve asset, because they're required to hold a certain amount of their assets in reserve. Now they've got a new asset, not new, but the option to hold gold again as an equivalent.
Yeah, no, that's very well said, Cole. And we'll just, explain that if as you've articulated, sure, there's a number of reserve banks around the world holding more gold than ever before. And yeah, I saw that chart that Balaji posted as well, which is quite fascinating. How do you see that affecting what you guys are doing at Global Gold as you begin to, bring your own version of on-chain tokenized gold to market?
Yeah, like I said, I think right place, right time. I think gold's going to make a comeback in a major way over the next 5 to 10 years. I think personally, my opinion is why Basel III is being rolled out is I think the fiat currencies are weakening, and so these banks are now being able to hold an actual real asset, non-fiat asset, as a reserve asset. And so I think with the geopolitical environment and with where the world's going, I don't see gold going anywhere but up over the next 5 to 10 years.
Yeah. And so what about, how do you see tokenized gold playing its role in, like, let's say, DeFi? So DeFi is still building out. We've got a massive community of, I suppose, power DeFi users, but waiting for that kind of breakthrough moment for DeFi to really get a wider sense of adoption, I suppose. But you'd imagine perhaps tokenized gold could be one of those drivers that help bring DeFi to the masses. What do you think, Cole?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, you're looking at gold as the historic best store of value. We're going back 5,000 years, right? And so bringing that type of collateral to the DeFi ecosystem, I think it changes the way the system operates. I think if you're able to actually put gold on chain, I think one of the things it actually does, I was talking to a buddy of mine about the other day, is in bear markets, a lot of times you see people flee crypto and go out. But if you've got a store of value like gold, where you're still able to hold that on chain, people don't have to leave the DeFi ecosystem anymore, right? Now you just swap, meme hard all day long, store your profits in gold, right? And so I think the more of these real world assets come on chain, I think the more mainstream that DeFi becomes over time, and has real practical use case in the real world. And so I think that's the phase we're in with crypto right now, is all the real world assets coming on chain, to where you're going to see a lot more real world use case out of the blockchain. And I think gold's going to be a big player in that.
And so you're saying if that's the case, then presumably like tokenized gold could be used for, well, a variety of purposes really, but like remittances, payments, collateral, which would just further unlock, even more liquidity in terms of gold around the world.
Yep, exactly. I don't think you've got a better form of collateral, right? I think gold is the pinnacle of ideal collateral. So if you've got that now tokenized and on chain, can be moved, like we said, at the speed of digital, then the lending potential that unlocks, I think, is phenomenal.
Yeah. So if you're, effectively building a real world asset protocol, that's quite a challenge. One of the problems, of course, is that there are different jurisdictions around the world. Everyone has their own lens in terms of the regulatory view that they express. Just talk to some of the challenges involved in kind of unpicking that problem.
Yeah, I think it is, because you don't just have a digital protocol, you've got now a digital physical protocol that has to interact with the physical world. So there's a whole regulatory component that comes with that. So we've engaged Paul Hastings, one of the top law firms in the space, to actually help us handle that, and work our way through the regulatory environment as it relates to commodities on chain. But yeah, it's what we're doing is building jurisdiction-specific gold-backed tokens as one of the many products we're rolling out. But what that looks like is launching with the U.S. gold token, and then quickly expanding into other jurisdictional tokens. So Dubai gold, Singapore gold, opening vaults in other nations. And the idea there is to bring the gold trade on chain, right? And essentially create a forex market of gold, because gold in maybe an African nation might be valued at a different valuation than gold in, say, the Western world, right? And so you might have, or like a great example is a real live example. A buddy of mine, his friend was a big billionaire, moved physical gold all over the world based on geopolitical risk. So when the war broke out in Ukraine, he moved all gold from Eastern Europe over to the US to de-risk it from the war. So theoretically, a war breaks out in a specific country or region, you might see the spot price of gold drop due to the risk nature of that region. Meanwhile, the Western world maybe has standard spot price over here, creates an arbitrage opportunity for anyone who's willing to take that risk to go into the nation and potentially fly gold from that. You redeem it out of the ecosystem over there, take the physical gold, fly it over to, say, the US, retokenize it over here. And you basically, the idea is just to really bring the entire global gold trade on chain by launching different jurisdiction-specific tokens. And what's going to enable that is what we're launching later this quarter, which is the first decentralized gold exchange that we're calling the Global Gold Exchange. And so it'll be the first gold-backed DEX that's going live in Q4 that'll be able to actually buy, sell, and trade all those jurisdiction-specific gold tokens we'll be launching in the years ahead, starting with U.S. gold.
Yeah, fantastic. So how are you going to drive, I guess, users or adoption to that? What's the strategy? Like, how do you give people the incentive to move on chain, I guess, instead of sticking with the existing vehicles, gold ETFs or custodial firms, etc. How are you going to drive the adoption of this goal?
We really look at this as it really is what we're trying to build is the best, most efficient way to own gold. So as opposed to owning an ETF where you're owning the paper, you don't actually own the real gold. The Wyoming legal structure allows us to make the token holder the legal owner of the gold. So as opposed to buying an ETF, you can actually go on your phone, swap USD for the US gold token, and now legally own gold in the vault in the Wyoming Reserve, who we're partnering with. And so, go ahead. Were you gonna ask something?
What's that?
Oh, sorry. I thought you were going to ask something.
No, go ahead.
So yeah, so I think for us, we even look at this as an improved way to own gold as opposed to putting it in your basement. Because if you want liquidity out of the gold in your basement, you've still got to go down to the local gold shop and take a 4% hit on selling your gold. Whereas you might as well, log onto the app, acquire USG token. It's now your gold held in the vault in the Wyoming Reserve, but you've also got access to a liquid market 24/7. So you could roll over at 3 a.m. and decide, hey, I want to wake up and sell my gold, sell your gold real quick to a liquid global market, and then go back to sleep for a fraction of what it would cost you to go down to the local gold shop and sell your gold down there. So now your gold's held in a facility that's also holding central bank gold, right? It's class 3 vaults, et cetera, the highest secured facility you possibly get in America. And if you want to redeem that gold out of there, you can pull it out at any time. It's 100% yours.
Makes sense. Just to talk us through those vaults, how those vaults work, Cole, because obviously anyone that knows anything about gold, they'll be very interested in how that process works. I understand there's a number of different vaults, and you say on the website that global gold vaults work differently. But just talk us through, I guess the design of those vaults.
Yeah, so I think what you're referring to is the digital vaults that we're actually rolling out here in a week or two. So this is going to be the most secure multi-sig on chain. It's a step up from Gnosis Safe, specifically designed to protect real world assets on chain. So what we've done is created a function that we're calling guardians. So like Open Zeppelin created the owner function on smart contracts and token contracts. Wherever a token contract gets audited, they're looking for that to make sure it's got an owner function. What we've done is actually created the guardian function to take the multi-sig concept to enable multi-sigs even on token contracts. So we're applying that to the vaults as well. So it is a multi-sig, but various functions within the vault or that multi-sig are actually guarded by these what we're calling guardians. So you can set up different guardians for different functions of the vault. You can even set up guardians for a recovery feature to where if somebody hacks your main wallet, they still don't have access to the vault. If you need to recover it, the guardians have the ability to designate a new wallet as that recovery. And so as opposed to just one multi-sig that's, the handful of people you selected on everything, you've now got the ability to designate different functions within that vault to different guardians to ensure that the assets held within that are held in the most secure place on chain.
So what you're talking about, Cole, is essentially there's the real gold, which is held in its own vault, and you can explain that because that's whatever a Class 3 vault in Casper, Wyoming. I'm not sure what Class 3 means. I'd love to know, though. And then so that once that gold is secured and tokenized, then, of course, that can be secured by, smart contract vaults again. But I'm interested in the real world Class 3 vault as well, Cole.
Yeah, absolutely. So there's different vaulting rankings. The LBMA's got their standards for what they recommend holding, institutional gold, and variety of different people. The central banks have their standards for what they accept their gold being held in. But Class 3 is one of the highest, most secure vaults you can possibly have. The Wyoming Reserve has their approvals to now hold central bank gold, and they're onboarding a handful of banks, as I understand it as well.
Yeah, very nice. All right. Well, so the big idea here is, just own gold like you own crypto and move it around or store it. Just like crypto. You can see that having a lot of appeal to people. So I suppose take this out, 3-5 years, as global gold starts to gain traction. What do you see that looking like? What are the positives? Are there any risks that you see on the horizon? What happens next?
Yeah, I think over the next 3 to 5 years, we want to see jurisdictional expansion as well as metals expansion. Over the next 3 to 5 years, we're going to be rolling out a variety of different jurisdiction-specific tokens, whether that be, like I said, Dubai Gold, Singapore Gold, etc., as well as silver, platinum, palladium products as well. So we'll be rolling out additional tokens, metal tokens, and additional jurisdictions. And then what else? Gosh, we've got a handful of things in the pipeline. So we've got Global Gold Vaults releasing in a few weeks. We've got massive NFT collection coming in a few weeks. We've got Global Gold Bars, the launch of those gold-backed token series, launching with the US Gold token here at the end of Q4, along with the Global Gold Exchange in Q4. We've got a lending protocol for gold-backed assets coming early next year. And then we've got V2 of the exchange coming next year as well. So V1 is a standard DEX. We're going to be making that institutionally compliant early next year as well. With the institutional version of that will be ISO 2002 compliant, so that the banks can play on the ecosystem. But we'll also be kind of the V2 of the exchange later next year. We'll be adding options, futures, etc.
I love it. All right. Well, look, as we finish up this part of the podcast then, Cole, for people who want to learn more about Global Gold, keep up to date with what you guys are building and look to get involved, what is the best way for people to do that? What should they do? Where should they go?
Yeah, globalgold.finance or golden.finance, GOLDN.finance. That's our community token that we're going to be doing a lot more stuff with in the months ahead, and we'll announce that at some point over the next few months. But those two are the websites. Join the community on Discord, Telegram. Stop by, say hi. But yeah, I think globalgold.finance and golden.finance are the two websites that you can find more info.
Yes, indeed. Thank you, Cole. And those links are in the show notes, listeners. But that means it is time to go to a very quick break, and then we'll come back. We'll finish off. We'll have some fun by running Cole through the very famous Crypto Conversation hot take round. Back in 1 second. All right, we are back, and I'm with Cole Chapman. Cole, of course, is CEO and co-founder at Global Gold. Cole, I like to finish each podcast with a quick round of rapid-fire Crypto Conversation hot takes. Are you up for it?
I'm up for it. Let's go.
Let's go, Cole. I'm just going to run some questions at you. Just want me to give me, like quick hot take style answers. Question 1 for you, Cole, is where would you say that you sit on the Bitcoin maximalist to multi-chain opportunist spectrum?
I'm probably more in the multi-chain opportunist spectrum. I think Bitcoin's phenomenal. We love Bitcoin, but in terms of it being the only one out there, I don't think it's going to be the only one.
Yeah. All right. Well, Cole, what would you say is your firmest conviction crypto opinion?
I think that everything that can be tokenized will be tokenized over the next 10 years.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's probably correct. Very well said. Look, Bill Gates famously said that we tend to overestimate what we can accomplish in 2 years and underestimate what we can accomplish in 10. So 10 years, it's a long time. Anything you like here, Cole? Global gold, gold itself, what does it look like in 10 years' time?
I think for us, we've captured a large market share of the metals market. We're expanding beyond metals at that point into other commodities.
Yeah. Why not? All right. Another way of thinking about this is a quote by William Gibson, who said that the future is already here. It's just not evenly distributed. Now, with that in mind, can you think of an example of the future being here right now, but most people just aren't aware of it?
I really think I think crypto itself. I think certain corner pockets of crypto. I think RWA is one of those. I was lucky enough to be involved in e-commerce before that went mainstream back in the early 2000s, and it feels very much reminiscent of the energy that was in that space at the time. There's a handful of guys who know how to make a ton of money online through a certain model, but the masses don't know about it yet and don't realize that there's a multi-$100 million, billion-dollar plus industry that's about to be formed out of it. And I think there are certain corner pockets of crypto that are the exact same way. I think real world assets, I think, are one of those that I think us in the crypto space are very well familiar with, but I don't think the masses are aware of it yet or see what's coming. And so yeah, I think crypto as a whole, but specifically certainly various pockets of crypto, I think are still well known to all of us within the game. But in terms of the masses, I think are still completely unaware of what's coming down the pipeline.
Yes, indeed. Well said, Cole. And it brings us nicely to the final question, which is very simply, what is your favorite science fiction book, film, or TV show?
Gosh, I'm not much of a sci-fi fan, to be honest. So I don't know if I've got a good one. Yeah, I don't even know if I've got an answer for you, and let's be honest.
That's all right. Anything you've been watching lately? Or reading or anything? What's tickling your fancy?
It's a good question. What have I been reading recently? I've really been in build mode. I haven't been reading a ton. I don't watch a whole lot of shows or movies. Whatever wife basically has on in the background is typically what I end up watching.
No, that's very valid, Cole. A lot of people are very similar and always in build mode, and there's certainly nothing wrong with that, is there?
I hope not.
All right. Well, look, Cole, this was a lot of fun. Thank you for coming and spending some time with us today and sharing your vision for Global Gold. Again, just to close it out, tell people what is coming down the product pipeline for you guys and how people can stay in touch and get involved.
Yeah, I think keep in touch on Twitter, on X. We've got the first US gold back token launching later this quarter. The Global Gold Exchange is also launching this quarter. The NFT project coming down the pipeline here in a few weeks. Global Gold Vaults, the most secure multi-sig on chain, is dropping here in a week or two. And then more to come in Q1 of next year.
Awesome. Hey, wish you the best. Thank you so much, Cole. All the best and bye for now.
Hey, thanks, Andy. Appreciate you.